Hi, I'm Jason. Welcome to my garage. Hi, I'm Jason. I'm Leah's dad, and I'm here to give you a little education about our garage and the history of our garage. This is the only room in the house I actually have any control over. My wife is in charge of everything with the rest of the house, and I was told I could do anything I want with this garage. So the first thing you need to know is this garage is not attached to the house, and when we moved into this house, a builder built a breezeway to connect our garage to the main house. In doing that, I was able to use the garage for a lot more than if it was a freestanding building. I like natural light, and so we have garage doors that have some upper windows on them. And it's hard to tell because it's dark out, but there's an old steel framed window here. The garage, before we incorporated into the house, we wanted the garage never met the aesthetics of the rest of the house, and now we wanted to make it look like it was part of the house and part of natural progression of the roof line. And so it changed. There used to be windows in the back of this garage, and now those windows are bricked in and drywalled over, and the outside of this garage is now stuccoed and painted to match the rest of the outside of the house. So in terms of the things that we've done in the garage to make it more functional for when we have lived here, the first thing is I want this to be a flex space, and so I want to be able to use it for projects. And so I brought a gas pipe to the garage. And
you can give us a tour. I'll follow you.
Yep. And so I brought a gas pipe to the garage and installed a heater.
Fancy.
And, yes. With a direct vent to the outside and a thermostat that I can turn on and off. And this allows me to warm up the garage if I'm doing projects, and to conserve energy, I can leave the heat off whenever I want to leave it off. I also brought to the outside of this garage, I built a water spigot inside the house that I can hook a hose up to, so I can wash cars in the garage, but I don't want the pipes to freeze in the winter should the heater be off. And we installed a sprinkler system, and the control of the sprinkler system is over here.
Awesome.
And we put in 2 new garage door openers with insulated garage doors, and I hooked up a wireless receiver, and so I can use my smartphone to track whether the garage doors are open and closed them remotely should I wish. And then I'm very into repurposing, and the library was renovating and throwing out old steel shelving, and so I have steel shelving to keep my stuff organized. And I put up bike racks, and seasonally, sometimes if I want more room, I'll move some of the stuff into the basement to create more room, and I have room for all of my stuff, and I have a lot of stuff. So my favorite objects, I think, have to be the tools, and I've tried to design and lay out the tools so I can use them in many different functional ways.
Okay, do you want to tell me a little bit about them?
So, sure. So I have a table saw here, and first of all, almost everything that's in the garage, I've made it modular and put it on movable bases, and then I've also paid very careful attention to the various heights of tables. So I have a table here that I can put out in the middle of the garage on adjustable legs, and then I have my table saw. And then I built an extension table on it with a router table, and then I have additional tables and storage also on mobile bases that are all the same height. And I try to design things to maximize efficiency for space. So such that I can cut things and then run things through a planer underneath. And then I have put a lot of task-specific lighting that I can move around depending on what I'm doing. And then I have all the supplies that I need for ear and eye protection. And then for the projects that require compressed air, I have my compressor. And then I've also, as time has gone on, built a lot of jigs that I end up keeping in the garage to help with other types of projects. So for example, like a custom roof rack for certain types of goods, and a sheet rack that fits in the back of the car for 4x8 sheet goods, and that's it.
Awesome.
I've also brought additional power to the garage because I like to do I like to be able to charge cars and have additional power to run the equipment. And one day I imagine I'm going to be doing some welding. And would like to be able to have a 240 source in order to do some welding.
Ambitious. Yes. I like it.
So here, if I want to cut a hole in the wall or redo plumbing, I have the ability to do that. And I also, even though it does not look it right now when I'm between projects, I like to be able to make the garage super clean and organized. And it makes me feel like I have more control over my life to have my garage organized. Because there's very few things in life I have control of, and this is something that I actually can have control over. So since the pandemic started, I still use the garage for projects and have spent a lot more time at home during the pandemic. And so I've used it more during the pandemic for projects. And I've also didn't know the pandemic was coming, but it was very nice to have the heater installed because we've been able to have some friends open up the garage doors and turn on the heater and have a little bit more of some flex indoor-outdoor space.
What do you think is the best part about having your garage as your workspace?
So I really like having a place in the house that I can get as dirty as I want and then hose down and clean up and blow out. And as a matter of fact, I have a lot of friends that live in apartments downtown or in new construction homes that have only very nicely finished space and I wonder, like, where do they put their wagon? Like, I don't, or their gas cans, or their shop vacs, or where do they change the oil on their snowblower? And so I like having space that I can store the different equipment and supplies that I need to maintain the house and the property. And I like being able to rely upon this space and not having to rely on other people to always bring supplies in and take supplies out on the same day. Today's project is I am making fake wainscoting to go over the fireplace. And in order to do that, I need to make it appear that we have paneling. And so I finished a wall to make it look like it was wood, even though it was plaster. And now I milled trim and am in the process of mitering and painting and gluing up joints. And then I'm going to install this trim to make it look like I have floating panels over the fireplace.
Very cool. That'll add a lot of design and decor to our home.
I hope so. I installed the heater. I used a double wall stainless steel vent that I made sure to bring outside far enough away to the house to make sure that there's appropriate venting of carbon monoxide. Additionally, if I'm using things that produce obnoxious gases, I can easily open up the garage door and have additional fans that I can set up to help vent. I also have appropriate safety equipment for various decibel work to protect my ears, and I have different types of masks and filters depending on whether you're using organic compounds or inorganic, and of course various kinds of eye protection as well I have here.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Dad.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot about the most important safety thing. In case somebody has a heart attack and aspirin.